Bonjour mes beautés, je suis de retour. If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Velda Nadim and I create content regarding femininity, marriage, faith, and relationship. So before we get into today's topic about how women accidentally train men not to commit, I'm going to pour myself some tea. So one of the ways that women accidentally train men not to commit is by not requiring standards for commitment. When women remove boundaries, especially early, then emotionally, spiritually, and physically, men learn that they can receive the benefits of commitment without the responsibility of it. Because a lot of women, they preach that they have standards, okay, they preach that they will stand by them, but when money comes around, a man that is attractive comes around, they fold. And that's because they have lost focus on the reason why those standards are there in the first place. And what is the outcome that these standards bring when followed? There's a great verse in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23 that says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." From a biblical perspective, intimacy and deep emotional access are meant to follow commitment, not precede it. When the order is reversed, commitment loses its purpose. Women that are feminine are not cold, but they're inaccessible. And a lot of women that operate through the spirit of Jezebel confuse the two, right? They think that being inaccessible is being cold, when you can be inaccessible and be the most warmest, softest, and feminine woman out there. Another way that women accidentally train men not to commit is by compromising convictions. It is essential for you as a woman to lead with your convictions, lead with your beliefs, lead with your values, lead with your standards, and lead with your boundaries. When you do this, you decrease the urge of giving a man a speech of how great you are, how you're the best thing that ever happened to him, how he has to change in order for you to, keep pursuing this after he messed up. When you choose to lead with your convictions rather than your obnoxious, desperate speech and attempt to get this man to stay, to get this man to change, then you will be reinforcing this man's masculine nature to pursue you and earn your love. And in that process, he will begin to fall in love with you. Another way that women accidentally train men not to commit is by mistaking chemistry for character. In the beginning, you might not be able to tell the difference between chemistry and compatibility, but if you stay the course and follow the standards that you preach and you don't breach the boundaries for nobody, then you will. When I first met my husband as a teenager, I was walking with Yeshua like this, okay? He was not. But then he started coming into alignment, and those shared values grew commitment. It is not his feelings alone for me that made him commit to me. It is the shared convictions and values that led him to commit to me for life. Another way that women accidentally train men not to commit is by over-nurturing them when there is no leadership. Constant emotional labor, fixing, and mothering teaches a man comfort without accountability. Unfortunately, a lot of women do this. They start treating their romantic partner or the person that they're dating as their son rather than as the man that is supposed to add to their life, as a man that's supposed to lead them. It is very toxic, and you can quickly fall into this relationship dynamic if you have been in survival mode for so long, if you've been independent, from help and maybe from your parents, maybe that's where it stems from, or friends, or you've also been betrayed. That's something that I struggled with in the beginning of courtship. And that's when I needed to start believing that I was worthy and deserving of help, right? That I didn't need to do it all on my own. I didn't need to be a mother to everybody. I could be nurtured and provided for too. So it's really a change of mindset that you need if you are dealing with this. Another way that women accidentally train men not to commit is by choosing silence over truth. There's a great verse in Ephesians 4:15 that says, "Speaking the truth in love, we are to grow in every way." There's a lot of women that avoid difficult conversation out of fear of losing a man. If you do this, especially frequently, then what you're doing is that you're teaching a man that your needs are optional. The truth is, biblical femininity is not about silencing, it's about gentle and timely honesty. The opposite extreme does exist, and that consists of constant confrontation. And this can also be rooted in fear that if an issue is not addressed immediately, then he will find you unworthy in distance, and he will not choose you, fight for you, and want to continue this relationship. Or fear that letting something slide means that you won't be taken seriously and that the matter will repeat itself and will become eventually a deal breaker in your relationship. But the truth is, not every issue needs to be a conversation. If there's something minor that happens, you observe it, and then if it repeats itself, then you address it calmly. Discernment is knowing when to speak and when to be still. Finally, remember that at times silence and distance are better than words. And you might need to apply this at a certain moment or moments in courtship and dating with a man to get your message across. And please, ladies, don't let a man know when you'll be back. Don't let him know when you'll text him back, how much time you need, because the truth is, men can shut down their hearts for a little while until that time that you said you'll be back. This one requires for your senses to be sensing. One of the ways that women accidentally train men not to commit is by rewarding inconsistency. All men will test you, the godly and the ungodly, and you have to be ready to pass the tests. As a woman, you have to know what to do when a man does not keep his word, when a man keeps rescheduling and canceling plans, when a man is ghosting you, and when a man is giving you the silent treatment. You have to have procedures set in place before you go into dating, before you go into courtship, so that you don't get played, you don't get unnecessarily heartbroken, and you don't get pregnant, defiled, and mistreated. In this video, I won't be elaborating the different procedures that you have to have in place in dating and courtship in order to avoid all the following issues that I've listed. But what I will say is that make sure that those procedures encourage a man to never do that again, and tell a man that, listen, if you're going to keep doing that, then I will walk away. And finally, make sure that those procedures lead to an apology from this man. Don't let a man come back and have, access to you and bring you on another date and see you again and talk to you as if nothing happened if he's not going to apologize for ghosting you, silencing you, for canceling plans, and the list goes on. To wrap up this video, let me state that biblical femininity attracts biblical masculinity. A woman who honors herself, God, and a proper order naturally filters out all the men who are not ready for commitment. It says in Matthew 6:33, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." If you have made it at the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you. And if you think that this video would benefit somebody else, maybe a woman, maybe a man, then just give it a like so maybe it shows up on somebody else's algorithm. I'll see you very, very soon, my loves. Mwah. Bye.